Hi folks, Champagne Friday! Wow, it's time again. I love Fridays, don't you? Yeah. It's the day when I drink the most amount of champagne. Thanks to you, because otherwise I just sit and spit, but I need to drink a little bit because it looks so bad when I'm sitting in front of the camera. No, that was a joke. We're going to taste something very special for me, emotionally, because I've been wrong. I thought that this house, Collery, was extinct, gone, vanished, ceased, no longer existing, pining for the fjords, or everything that John Cleese normally speaks about, dead things. No, the story is that I got in the mid-90s, I got a mission from a guy called John Anderson. And John Anderson was about to start the best wine agency in Sweden. So he looked for some good wine journalists or people who knew a lot, and he wanted to have the best names participating on the wine lists in the great restaurants. So many of them were easy to find. He found Leroy and some really great Burgundy producers like Comte Lafon, Ramonet, etc. But also Champagne at that time, mid-90s, was just a few brands existing in our Scandinavian outskirts. So what happened? He asked me, he saw me in one blind tasting and said, hey, it looks like you have a little bit of feeling when it comes to champagne. And I said, yeah, I am absolutely crazy about champagne. I've been doing this for approximately 10 years' time as a sports teacher and tasting as much as I could. And he said, I love the terroir thinking, the terroir concept, which is so normal when you come, especially to Burgundy, but even in Loire, Alsace, and the Rhone Valley, etc. This was not spoken so much about in Champagne because the blending theory was the leading one thanks to or because of the big houses. So single vineyards or monocrus were very rarely spoken about. But many growers made it. And one that was really striking me when I went down, traveling around in Champagne, was Collery. So his question was, Richard, could you find the best producer, best grower in each of the 17 Grand Crus? That was impossible because if you come to Pousselieu, there are no growers producing anything. Sillery at the time was nothing, etc. Oÿ, no pure vineyard champagnes. But a few of them, Aÿ, Le Mesnil, Cremant, Aÿ had really great producers. And we found Bonnaire and Dibolt, we found Celos, quite famous name today, etc. But in Aÿ, it was not the brands, you know, Roger Brun or Gatinois or Giraud, which are famous names today. The leading one in Aÿ for the time was the champagnes made in the 80s from Collery. And long historic vineyards, great vineyards, run by a guy called Alain Collery at the time. And Alain, he made superb champagnes, but he was also a very famous politician, just beneath the president. So he was very high-class politician, and he stopped playing around with the Collery brand, unfortunately. The 1980 Cuvée Herbillon, the 1985, which changed name to Pierre Laurin, which was his new name, which the cameraman just said, oh, now I know, I have tasted this. And the Special Club, etc. From the 80s, legendary wines, really among the best examples of this leathery, hazelnutty, Bollinger-like Aÿ aromatics from growers. And also in the rosé, for a long time, the best example of strawberry scented, great Côte de Bon, I would say something between a really good Santenay or a Pommard, or even up to red Corton, sometimes aromatically with some age. So they are back, and I didn't know. I was just sending out some sample requests, and choof, the bottles are here. So I got 3 of them, and what I see is that all of them are again or still pure Grand Cru Aÿ. So it's not just the name that's been surviving and no vineyards. And when I put down my nose on the first, I see it's the same origins. So I don't know the story. You will find it by going there, and I will learn more. And if you buy my new book, Champagne Magnum Opus, it will say beautiful before, but it's no longer existing. But now you know it is. So the first one is just a non-vintage Blanc de Noir, but a non-vintage from 15. So aged, what is it, 84 months or something like that? Incredibly long. And the second one is the Cuvée Prestige with a very difficult name to pronounce, Empyreumatique, something to do with the minerals, the method when you use fire stuff. I don't know exactly. Anyway, that's the name they put. It's 2014, and in this case, not Blanc Noir, but almost 9010, which was also in the Cuvée Herbillon historically. So probably similar to that. The last one, 89, 11% Chardonnay, and 18, pure 18 if I look at on the back label. So let's see. Are we back? Is it, will it be a great surprise? Will it be living up to the former dreams? Or where are we? Blanc de Noir. It's there. It's there. It's the non-vintage. Much, much better than the one that Alain was presenting at the time, because that one was much younger. This is actually a little bit similar to the Pierre Laurent 85. And what do I find? The very striking gunpowder notes. That's the most striking thing. But also a Swedish meat dish where you boil with some special herbs, which is called dillkött or kalops. Try to find it. I don't think it's existing anywhere else than in Scandinavia. But anyway, that type of aromatics is for me so strong. So it's spicy, gunpowdery, and very animalistic. That's on the nose. So is it flattering? No, but wow, this is big stuff. Very male-oriented tobacco notes. This is actually just a week ago. I was at Krug. I tasted a long lineup with 5 different Grand Cuvées, and Aÿ is very important in the Grand Cuvées. This feels a little bit on the palate like the base, the heart, the core of what they are building things around. So the smokiness, the nuttiness, and the direct mineralic attack from Pinot Noir, Aÿ, could have been this guy if they're not their own vineyards. Impressive, youthful, great, wow type of wine. Cuvée Prestige, 14. A selection which is, of course, slightly better. Things that they prefer, say that older wines, or whatever, we can't read it, I don't know exactly, but the selection is made for this because it's a very limited production. On the nose, similar, slightly more creamy, almost fudgy notes that comes up together with this. And if the fruit is more evident, and the fruit is more like figs, a little bit almond notes, less hazelnuts. What a journey you're following now. You see, I'm not 100% focused. I'm a little bit disoriented because I need to speak with you at the same time when I experience things. And that's what life is all about, and champagne tasting. Wow. Oily, little bit like the Bonnardier Vin, not as big as that one, but notes that you get. Sometimes with the Bonnardier Vin, then you have a note which some people dislike. I love it when it's not too strong. And it's here. It's a little bit of foie gras, but it's also fish oil. Fish oil. Salmon oil, to be the fat of the salmon or the oil. That note is obvious. Pinot Noir from Aÿ, and here it comes again. So very, very great example of Aÿ. Rosé, 18. I must say a little bit of disappointment there already on the nose. Let's see on the taste, and I comment some more directly after that. Better on the palate. I think the problem is more a question of age. Because this was my first champagne hiking outdoors in Switzerland, you know, in the Alps. This beautiful lawn, overlooking the turquoise lake, the enormous mountains, etc., and drinking a romantic champagne like a pure rosé from Aÿ. It will become slightly like that. But I think they put their best grapes here, which is also understandable. So let's see and follow. For me, it was a little bit too much of a slight artificial note, a little bit of too much cherries instead of the mature strawberries, and a little bit shorter, bold directly, but not as Burgundian-like I wanted it to be. But the first two, and especially most impressive, I think, is the Blanc de Noir, the non-vintage Blanc de Noir, which has this 1985 Pierre Laurent, the meat, the boiled meat, the herbs, and the gunpowder. I will take a sip of that. Cheers to Collery. Welcome back.